Part 1, The Stream That Never Ended. They told me Highway 99 was just another stretch of asphalt, a forgotten artery running through California's dusty gut. But that was before the fog came. Before the live stream. Before I started hearing my own voice where it shouldn't be. It began the way most nightmares do, somewhere between boredom and curiosity. 3 kids, self-proclaimed ghost chasers of the valley, set out one night in late November, chasing viral fame through the thick Thule fog. They were live streaming from mile marker 187, right where the old fruit packing plant used to stand before the floods took it. Their last words were simple enough. "Something's moving in the fog, bro, is that headlights?" Then came the sound of screeching tires. Silence. Static. The stream didn't end. It kept running for 6 more hours. By morning, all 3 of them were gone. Phones still connected. Batteries dead cold. I got the call from the Fresno field office, temporary assignment, they said. Just a fog accident, probably some drunk driver. But when the digital forensics guys tried to replay that footage, they found something strange. The kids weren't the only ones talking. There was another voice. Deep, slow, warped by reverb, like it came through a tunnel. It said one thing: turn off your lights. That's when I knew this wasn't a traffic case. I drove Highway 99 that night, alone, windows down, just to feel it. The fog isn't like normal weather, it's a living thing here. Thick enough to eat sound, to turn the world into one long grey corridor. The headlights cut no further than 20 feet ahead before dissolving into milk. Every sound echoes. Every movement feels borrowed. They say fog disorients the human brain, deprives it of reference points. I think it does more than that. It rewires you. At mile 187, I pulled over. The asphalt was slick with dew. The smell of diesel hung heavy in the air. Somewhere off in the dark, I could hear the highway sigh, the long, endless exhale of 1,000 engines fading into nothing. That's when I saw it, a faint glow through the mist, flickering. A phone screen, cracked and half buried in the mud. It was still recording. The footage showed flashes, laughter, headlights cutting through fog, the hum of a cheap Bluetooth speaker. Then a woman's voice, not one of theirs, whispering, "Slow down." But what froze me wasn't the voice. It was the timestamp. The file had been uploaded 4 hours after their disappearance. Whoever, or whatever, recorded that, used their account. The next morning, I met Officer Mia Torres from the CHP Central Division. Tough, young, sharp, the kind of cop who still believes in clean answers. She'd been first on scene and didn't like the story any more than I did. She told me something strange. 2 nights before the crash, dispatch received a dozen reports of a phantom car driving the wrong way through the fog. Silver sedan, high beams on, no plates. But when units responded, the signal kept vanishing from radar. "Ghosts don't show up on radar," I said. She looked at me. "Neither do drones with spoofed plates." We traced the phone signal from the live stream's IP logs. It bounced across 5 cell towers, all rural, all within 10 miles. But one tower, the one near Delano, showed duplicate data packets. Like someone had intercepted the stream, mirrored it, then rebroadcasted it from another location. That's when we brought in the Border Patrol Tech Division. Turns out, someone was using the fog as cover to move stolen vehicles north, luxury cars stripped, tagged, and shipped to Mexico by dawn. And the ghost chase? Just the perfect distraction. 3 kids vanished chasing ghosts. Meanwhile, 6 semi-trucks roll through checkpoints unnoticed. The kind of trick that works because no one wants to admit how blind they really are in the fog. That night, Mia and I went back out, thermal drones overhead, air unit on standby. The fog came in early, thicker than before, swallowing the world whole by 8 p.m. We set up along the frontage road, radios on open channel. Half an hour later, the call came in. Unit 12, we've got movement at marker 190, eastbound, no headlights. Mia hit the siren. I floored it. The tires skidded in the damp. Out of the fog, a faint shimmer appeared, the outline of a sedan, ghost-like, flickering between beams. Then static flooded the radio. No voices, just static. I glanced at Mia. She was saying something, but her lips didn't match the sound. The radio hissed louder. Somewhere beneath it, I heard something else. A voice. My own voice. Turn off your lights. The same words from the live stream. For a second, the fog wasn't just around me, it was inside the car. The temperature dropped. My breath clouded the windshield. Then, a horn blast. A wall of white headlights exploded out of nowhere. A truck. I swerved hard left, metal screaming, tires shrieking. The truck missed us by inches, tearing past like a phantom beast. And just like that, it was gone. When we pulled over, both of us were shaking. I replayed the dashcam footage. Nothing. No headlights, no truck, no collision. Just the fog. Mia stared at me like she wanted to believe something logical, like radar interference, optical illusions, fatigue. Anything but what it felt like. We didn't talk much on the drive back. But when I checked the recording again later that night, I noticed something I hadn't before. Frame 197, timestamp 22 hours 43 minutes and 19 seconds, half a second of corrupted feed, right before the near miss. And in that static, just visible enough to freeze your blood, a reflection in the windshield, a face. Not mine. Not Mia's. Someone sitting in the back seat, smiling. I didn't tell her. Not yet. Some things, you keep to yourself until you understand what you're really dealing with. Out here, on the long dark stretch of 99, you start to wonder if maybe the fog doesn't hide things. Maybe it shows them. Part 2, echoes in the static. They always tell you sound doesn't travel far in fog. That's a lie. Out here, it travels too far, bounces, folds, returns changed. It's like the air records you, then plays you back wrong. That's what I kept thinking the next morning, standing inside the Fresno field lab, staring at a waveform that shouldn't exist. The technicians had isolated a section of the recovered stream, 38 seconds of garbled noise right before the kids disappeared. But when they filtered the static, something emerged beneath it. A pattern. Rhythmic. Structured. Almost human. The analyst looked at me and said, "It's not interference. It's speech, but reversed." They flipped it. And there it was. My voice. "You shouldn't have come back." I don't remember saying it. But the audio was timestamped 2 hours before I even arrived at the scene. Mia walked in mid-analysis, coffee in one hand, fatigue in the other. She'd been combing through dispatch tapes all night. "Check this out," she said, dropping a printed transcript on the table. A list of distress calls from the week before the live stream, 12 different reports, all the same message. Vehicle in fog. Lights flickering. People screaming. Each call logged from a different number, different voice. But the background noise was identical, the hum of an idling engine and the distant whine of a generator. A perfect loop. Could be a signal hijack, Mia suggested. Some kind of drone relay. The kind smugglers used to jam comms and fake distress traffic. I nodded, though the logic didn't make me feel any better. Because if that were true, then whoever was controlling it had been testing those signals for weeks. Using ghost hunters. Using me. That afternoon, we met with Lieutenant Jordan Hayes, head of the task force. Tall, ex-military, the kind of man who looks like he hasn't blinked since 2005. He showed us a satellite map of the corridor between Fresno and Delano, red dots marking 32 phantom signals detected over the past month. Every one of them aligned with fog patches tracked by Caltrans weather sensors. Whoever's doing this, Hayes said, they are piggybacking on atmospheric scatter. Using the fog like a shield. He pointed to a cluster of dots near a rest stop. That's our hub. We hit it tonight. Night fell hard and early. The fog rolled in before we were ready. From the chopper, Highway 99 looked like a river of ghost light, white beams sliding through mist, disappearing midstream. We landed on the frontage road near an abandoned way station. The place smelled of oil and rust, the fog glowing orange under sodium lamps. Mia and I took the east flank while Hayes' team circled around. We found tire tracks, heavy, fresh, layered with mud. They led straight toward a ridge of old storage containers half swallowed by weeds. That's where we heard it. A low hum. Not mechanical. Not quite natural either. The kind of vibration that makes your chest feel like it's not yours anymore. Mia motioned for silence and crept forward. Through the fog, I saw shapes, 5, maybe 6 of them, human silhouettes moving between containers, illuminated by the faint glow of tablet screens. Drone operators. They were scanning plates, intercepting live traffic feeds, cloning VIN numbers. The ghost car wasn't a myth, it was projection, a deep fake overlay sent to nearby dashcams and feeds, masking real convoys moving stolen vehicles under cover of fog. But before we could move in, the hum spiked. A ripple of static flooded my headset, sharp enough to make my teeth ache. Then the fog thickened, instantly, unnaturally. I looked at Mia. She was shouting something, but the radio drowned her out. And through the static, I heard it again. My voice. Don't let them see you. The next few seconds folded in on themselves, white light, metallic clangs, a shout, a flashbang detonating somewhere close. By the time I regained focus, the operators were gone. All that remained was one drone, half melted, its camera cracked open like an eye that had seen too much. Mia retrieved the memory chip. We played it back on the field monitor. The footage showed the way station from above, our cars, our shadows, our approach. But then, around the 3-minute mark, it shifted. The image began to loop, time bleeding backward. We saw ourselves enter the fog again and again, each time slightly different, angles changing, movements repeating wrong. In the final loop, one of the figures looked straight up at the drone and smiled. It wasn't me. But it was my face. The bureau techs later called it a mirroring glitch. Said the fog was reflecting infrared, confusing the sensors. Maybe they were right. Maybe. But that night, while driving back, I caught my reflection in the side mirror and froze. For a second, it smiled before I did. A few days later, we tracked one of the fleeing operators to a wreck yard outside Tulare, a man named Victor Ramos, ex-automotive engineer, disgraced after a fatal crash test years ago. He'd been running an illegal chop shop ring using high-end drone tech. When we brought him in, he laughed the whole way to holding. "You think it's me," he said. "You think I control that road?" "What road?" I asked. He leaned forward, eyes wide, glassy, unblinking. "The one that breathes," he whispered. "You can't stop it. It likes the ones who listen." Then he started humming, low, slow, rhythmic. The same hum we'd heard by the containers. That night, dispatch received another phantom call. Only this time, the voice wasn't distorted. It was mine. "Officer down. Need backup. Mile 187. I wasn't there. Neither was Mia. But the GPS log showed my badge ID transmitting from that exact mile marker. I didn't sleep after that. I just sat in the motel room, watching the fog creep under the streetlights, wondering how many voices it had learned by now. Some nights, I think about those kids, the last sound they heard. Static, then silence. Or maybe not silence at all. Maybe, just maybe, it was the fog trying to talk back. Part 3, when the fog breathes. Some nights, the fog doesn't roll in, it arrives. Like a tide that remembers where the bodies fell. 3 weeks after the raid, Highway 99 had gone quiet again. The trucks ran on schedule, the headlines moved on. But I couldn't shake the feeling that the case wasn't over. That something was still out there, hiding in the static. Mia thought I was losing it. Maybe I was. We were sitting in the operations trailer outside Fresno, watching live feeds from the new fog-penetrating cameras Caltrans had installed. Every frame looked clean. Every lane perfect. Until 2:17 a.m. One of the feeds glitched for half a second, and the road disappeared. When the image stabilized, the timestamp had jumped backward exactly 60 seconds. A loop. Then the audio cut in, a faint breathing sound, rhythmic, too human to be wind. Mia turned to me. "That's the same frequency as the drone hum," she said. I listened closer. No. It wasn't the same. This wasn't machinery. It was lungs. By dawn, we had a plan, a final sweep of mile 187, the same place the live stream had died, the same spot my badge ID had spoofed weeks earlier. Hayes signed off on it reluctantly. He thought I was chasing ghosts. Maybe I was. But I needed to know if Victor Ramos was right, if the fog could listen. We rolled out at 1945, just as the first tendrils of mist started crawling over the asphalt. Mia drove, I handled comms. A drone unit shadowed us overhead, its lights faint smudges against the grey. The further south we went, the thicker it grew, a living wall swallowing headlights and sound alike. At mile 187, the radar pinged. Movement ahead. I killed the lights. Mia slowed to a crawl. Through the windshield, the world became a white sea. Then, shapes. Cars. Dozens of them. Silent, parked across both lanes, hazard lights pulsing faintly through the haze. Abandoned wrecks, Mia muttered. Has to be. But when we stepped out, we realized the engines were running. Every one of them idling, keys in ignition, radios tuned to static. And all the dials, temperature, RPM, fuel, frozen in perfect sync. I felt it before I heard it, a low vibration rising from the ground, like the pavement itself was humming. The fog around us thickened, swirling in slow motion, shaping itself into spirals that breathed in rhythm with the sound. Then, a voice. "Turn off your lights." Mia's hand went for her weapon. "Who's there?" she called out. No answer, just the same phrase, now layered, multiplied, hundreds of voices whispering over one another. Men. Women. Children. Some of them, us. "Turn off your lights." I reached for the radio. It was already transmitting, not my voice, not Mia's, but a live broadcast of the same whisper, repeating our coordinates again and again. Mia grabbed my shoulder. "Look." Beyond the fog, one of the cars was moving. Its headlights blinked twice, then stayed dark. The driver's door opened, no one inside. The engine revved, hard. The wheels spun, screeching against asphalt. Then the entire line of cars ignited at once, not in flame, but light. Headlights, brake lights, hazard lights, flashing in unison like a heartbeat. The vibration intensified until the ground felt liquid beneath our boots. And then I understood what Ramos had meant. The fog wasn't covering the road. The fog was the road, a self-sustaining field of resonance feeding off heat, motion, sound. A ghost circuit built from signal feedback and human fear. A breathing thing. "Mia, back to the car, now." We ran, half-blind, guided only by instinct and the dull pulse of the hazard beacons behind us. But before we reached the cruiser, the fog surged, a white wall collapsing forward like a wave. Something slammed into me, not solid, more like air condensed to impact. I hit the ground, gasping. My radio earpiece crackled. "Ryan." It was Mia's voice. Except she was standing 20 feet away, shouting silently. The voice in my ear continued. "Don't fight it. Let it breathe through you." For a heartbeat, I saw everything, all the vehicles, all the missing people, suspended in the fog like insects in amber. Their mouths open. Their eyes calm. Their bodies vibrating in sync with the hum. And then, a flash. When I came to, I was lying beside the cruiser. The fog had thinned. The cars were gone. Mia knelt beside me, face pale, blood trickling from one ear. "Explosion," she said hoarsely. "One of the generators went off." "You okay?" I nodded, though the ringing in my head said otherwise. Behind us, the sky glowed orange. One of the drones had crashed into the container site. The remaining feed showed vehicles burning, the fog curling away like smoke after confession. They said later it was fuel vapor ignition, a chain reaction from leaking tanks. They said Victor Ramos must have wired the site as a failsafe. That's the official line. But I know what I saw. And when I reviewed the drone footage days later, frame by frame, something else appeared right before the blast, a ripple of light expanding outward, like the fog itself exhaling. In the center of it,